Hey, what's going on, guys? Tim here. Driving as usual. I swear I spend the majority of my time now driving around. I'm gonna adjust this. It's what we do as realtors. We drive all over the place. I'll bet you I put more miles on my car on an average week than an Uber driver. So I was having a brainstorm. I think it was a brainstorm, either that or an aneurysm. I have a hard time telling them apart, but I was having a brainstorm and I thought, I might as well become an Uber driver and combine that with my real estate career. So when I'm out driving people around, maybe I could make a buck or two as an Uber driver. Or here in Alabama, maybe I should be a Goober driver. Remember Goober from Andy Griffith? Goober says hey. Whatever. Anyway, out driving around, going to an appointment, and thought I would do a really quick video. This is the Real Estate Minute, more or less. And on this video, I want to continue my discussion of inspections. Now, in the last video, I talked about the difference between an inspection and an appraisal, because a lot of people are under the misconception that they are one and the same, and they're not, and you can click to go look at that video. But most people will wait and do an inspection after they have an offer, and usually the inspection is paid for by the buyer. And the point of an inspection, when done by the buyer, is to identify any issues with the property, any major defects, anything that needs repair. It is an inspection report, and again, in the other video I talked about, it's top to bottom, wall to wall. They look at everything from loose door hinges to HVAC units to you name it. It can show up on an inspection report, and sometimes that inspection comes back with lots of surprises. I didn't know my heat pump wasn't working. I didn't know my shower head was clean. It can be stupid stuff, it can be major stuff, but usually it's a surprise. Now, typically the way that works is the seller, you, will put the house on the market. They'll get an offer, and once an offer comes in, the buyer, the potential buyer, will get the inspection done, and they're going to pay for it. And your average inspection is going to run you, $300, $400, $500, depending on the size of the house. Now, I think that sellers should actually get the inspection done ahead of time. And I know if you get the inspection done, you have to pay for it, but before you put your house on the market what's wrong with it. If there are any major defects, it going in, and that way there's not going to be any surprises. And you can make the decision ahead of time whether or not you want to address everything on the inspection report, or you just want to acknowledge it ahead of time and allow for it when you get an offer on the house. For example, if you pay for an inspection and it shows that your heat pump isn't working correctly, or there's a crack in a wall or a crack in a foundation, you then have the ability to address that ahead of time, and you can tell the potential buyers, hey, we're aware that there's a problem, or you can just pay to have the problem fixed. And that way you get it all out in the open and there are no surprises, because I've seen inspections just torpedo a deal. The buyer or the owner of the house thinks that the house is in great shape, and they'll do the inspection will come back, and there's a whole laundry list of things that need to be addressed, and it can really tank a deal, because that inspection then becomes part of the negotiating process, because the buyer can come back and say, okay, you need to pay for all these items, you need to allow money, or you might just go, no, I'm not going to fix anything, it's just sold as is. Again, the point is, before the inspection can become a problem, get it out of the way. Spend the $300 or $400 ahead of time. Get the inspection done so you can address those issues, or at least be aware of them. And should you make that inspection available to the buyer? I think so. because that's going to save them from having to do it, and you can pad that in your price at closing, whatever. They may still go ahead and have an inspection done, but again, the surprises are taken out of the mix, and the situation is not going to get where it can torpedo the deal. All right, so have an inspection done ahead of time, spend the money, get that off the table, get that removed as a negotiation point, and chances are you might end up making a few dollars more, or at least making up enough to cover that inspection. All right, hey, that's going to do it. This is the Real Estate Minute. More or less. If I can do anything for you in the world of real estate, do not hesitate to give me a call or shoot me a text, because I am your guy. And I'm also a goober driver. If you'd like me to pick you up and show you 15 houses, that's great. I'm going to charge you $1 a mile. I think that's fair. What? You don't?